In this Path of Exile build guide, I'm going to show you how to make very strong builds and stop guessing on your DPS, your armor, and all of that sort of stuff. Because as you know, in this game, so like if we go to something like skills, for example, you have your DPS here, you have some stats here, but it can be complicated when trying to figure out what to buy to upgrade your gear, etc., how to scale your damage, what kind of skills to use, and all of that stuff. So let me break this down, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. First of all, you're going to need a third-party app. This app is called Path of Building. Go and download that specific app. Once you have that app, open the app, and your screen's going to look like this. You want to go to Import and Export Build. You want to log into Path of Exile API, so it'll ask you to log in. I logged in via Steam. Go to Start, and then go to make sure it's on your thing. So mine's Tactician level 76. Import your passive tree and your jewels. Import your skills and items. So let's break down exactly what this actually is. First of all, we have a notes page, and what I'll actually do is I'll just put it on one of my main skills here. I'll put it on explosive rounds. So over here on the left, it has your main skills. So you can go ahead and change those. So you'll see that I have armor piercing rounds, explosive, and some other skills. We'll put it on explosive grenade right here. We have a notes section. I don't really use that. We have a configuration section. I don't use that too much either. However, we have a tree section, which shows our tree. We have a skills section that shows our skills. We have an item section that shows all of our items. A calculation section. Now don't worry, don't get too overwhelmed with this because it's not that complicated. We'll get into it in a second. This one I don't use, and then compare, I don't really use either. So first of all, let's just go to the skills because this is an easy one to showcase what this can actually do. So what you can do is you can click on your skills here, and it's going to change your thing here, right? So it shows all of your skills. So if I go to explosive grenade right here, and I click on like multi-shot, you'll see that my DPS has changed, okay? Right, so my average damage has changed because I unticked that skill. So let me kind of show you some examples here of how this works. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna untick fire penetration 2 because this program doesn't actually support that right now. I'm gonna untick that, and nothing actually changed apart from the mana cost. Now, what I wanna do is, for example, I'll go in and I'll put an elemental arraignment 2, and you'll see that my damage went up to 3, 5, 10. I untick that 3, 8, 5, 5. Now, if we put in something like fire penetration 1, because that actually does track that, you'll see that it went up to 3, 9, 7, 8. So basically what this is telling me is that with fire penetration, because mine's a fire build, this is going to be better for me because I get more damage because I'm penetrating armor, right? So we take this off. This goes to 2, 8, 5, 5. I put on elemental arraignment. It goes to 2, 3, 10. I go to fire penetration. I take off the element 1. It goes to 3, 9, 7, 8. It gives me more average damage by having this. So that's one way that you can basically go and see what skills do what to your actual, or skill modifiers do what to your actual thing. So if we go something like time for need and I unclick this, you'll see that my mana regen changes, okay? So that's what you can do with skills. So that's a nice basic feature that you can use. Now, we'll go to the tree and then we'll do some more advanced stuff in a second. If you go to the tree right here, you can see that I can add things and it should change the modifier. All right, so I have one here, armor piercing rounds. If I do this, which is increase the bow reload, you'll see that it changes the reload time. So what you can do is you can go ahead and you can just add things. For example, I could go and click on this and it's going to tell me what it's going to do for me in the green. We click it, it changes the stats on the left. So that's what you can do with the passive tree. Now, so we've talked about, so that's pretty basic. This doesn't change anything in your game. So I can take all this off. It's not going to change anything in the game right now because it's already synced it and you can play around with it. The next thing is items, and this is when things really get cool, okay? So what we'll do is we'll try and keep this basic, but it can be complicated. So let's find something that I have that's kind of weak. I'll go, that's not really weak, but let's just have a look at my gear. So we can go back to the game, and we can look at my gear, and let's go something like, let's look on the marketplace. I just bought some gloves. Let's look on the marketplace for boots, right? And we go search. Now, let me just get rid of all this stuff actually, because we'll just get rid of this for the video so we can find some boots. Okay. So we've got some basic random boots here. I'm just going to go copy item, okay? And it doesn't really matter what's on these right now, so I'm just going to show you what's changed. We go back to this software. We go to create custom. We paste that in there. So paste it in there, go create, go add to build. Now, if I go to my boots, you'll see that it's added that to my boots. And I click that, and it's essentially changed the stats. We go to my original boots. If we click on boots again, on the left, it changes all of these stats. Now, if we go to my original boots, and we hover over the boots that we just copied in, it tells me on the screen what stats get affected. I get -10 dexterity, but I get more cold hit against me. We get more evasion, we get more deflection, we get more armor, we get more physical damage reduction, etc., etc. So what that means is you don't have to guess anymore. You can go to the auction house and you can basically see what's going to change your build and where. And if it changes damage, it'll change damage and all of that stuff as well. So this is a really, really cool feature. But this is, you know, to build a build that has lots of damage, the perfect defense is like min-maxing, this is the kind of stuff you have to do. So that's real easy. You just go to the auction house, you just click copy, and you just put in. So I'll do it again. We'll do this one here. We'll go back to here. We'll go create custom. We'll paste that in. And then we'll go add to build. That's important. You need to make sure that happens. We go add boots, and then that changes our resistances, okay, down the bottom. We go back to here. We go to the top. We go down to there. We go to here. You'll see that it tells us what it's going to change, okay? Super easy. The next one is calculations. So I don't use this too much because it's not really so important to me because I can see calculations when I'm actually changing things. But for example, we have armor piercing rounds here. We hover over speed. It tells us we have 74% attack speed. And it's telling us where we're getting that from. So we're getting it from tree nodes, we're getting it from an item, we're getting it from skills, which is rapid attack 2, and then we're getting it also from our weapon conditions as well. Okay, and then we have reload time as well. So you can check things like accuracy. So if you want to actually see if you're, so you know how you put accuracy on things to give you more accuracy, because if the less accuracy, the more you're going to miss. If we actually look at this, when I'm fighting level 82 enemies, my accuracy is 100% within 100 meters. It is 90% within 5 meters and 37% within 9 meters. So if I wanted to increase these numbers for 5 and 9 meters, because we're already at 100% on 2 meters, all I would simply do is go and find some gear with more accuracy on it, okay? And that's kind of the same. So if we go to grenade rounds here, explosive grenade, we've got ignite stats here, etc., but the same thing. We have our accuracy, and it's essentially going to be the same, but it tells us what our accuracy is. We have our crit stats here as well. So you can see everything here. You can really get deep into this. And then that's really it. That's all you need to know, and that's how you can go ahead and do builds. Now, if you change something, all you need to do is go check for updates, and it will change. Sometimes it does take a while, so usually what I do is I'll just quit out, start again, and re-import. And that's exactly how we go and build strong builds, by using that very simple tool. And you can get deep, you can spend hours doing that, but that's how we do it. We use Path of Building. I'll see you guys in the next.